Hello, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Ascending Films podcast. It crashed again. Episode, is it 4? Episode 4, right? I'm your host, Alex G. Pinero, and follow with my co-host.
Maximilian G. Bovin, it's your boy. What up?
What up? It's been a while, y'all. Welcome back, everyone. Please excuse the time frame that it's been. We've been busy doing a lot of different things. Life has been pretty crazy. But if you haven't noticed, you got merch. We'll talk about that later. Good quality, 100% cotton merch. But yeah, how you been doing over there, Max?
Ooh, pretty good. Pretty good. This is like my first 30 minutes to get some free time, get some us time. I miss this us time. But yeah, things have been it's been a while, man. Things have been pretty busy up until now. We just finished wrapping the newest production, Lion's Den. It was a roller coaster of emotions putting that piece together, but I'm glad we finally got it. We got it in the can, and now we can move on.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So I mean, it's been probably like a few months since like the last episode, and we've both been doing a bunch of different things. Like Max, you started a new job. I moved out to LA, so we're like, there's a reason why we haven't had this time because there's so many things happening in the world right now. In terms of that, but yeah, we just before I left New York, we started a new production, The Lion's Den, which is a kind of a thriller, like a drama thriller that we created, probably less than 10 minutes long. But there's everything. There's action, there's drama, there's no romance, unfortunately. Maybe there's a little romance.
There's a lot of heart. So many people are asking when we're giving them that romance piece. I'm just like, when are we doing that? Alex, you tell me when we giving that romance piece, because I don't have an answer for that.
Oof. Oh man. To be honest with you, I'm not a big. I could be a romance, like in the film, but to write that, I don't think my mind is there. I feel like it's more like,
no,
like, hey, rip my arms off and tell me a cool story.
Literally, take your hand and shove it deep into my chest and pull out my heart. That's romance. And my sick, twisted mind.
Romance is a fatality.
Yeah.
Romance is fatalities.
Romance is fatality, man.
Wow, I never thought that people would be asking about that. For
they
a romantic Twilight, like 50 Shades of Grey-esque. Is that what you're looking for?
I mean, if you want like a good beat 'em up, go put on John Wick. That's a good beat 'em up. If you want romance like that, that's a romance. It's about a man and his dog and that strong bond the two of them share. That's real romance. That's what men want to see. It's a bond between a man and his beast.
A bond, and then it becomes a bond between a man and his guns.
All 250 of them.
Yep, Texas loves it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Shout out to Terran Tactical.
But yeah, we started it when I was out there, and then you just finished production. I believe, what was it, last Friday? You finished?
It was last Friday,
kind of.
There's a story. I technically wrapped on Monday, but there's a bit of a story behind that. Yeah, there's a bit of a story behind that.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
You want to talk about a little bit about what the film's about first, or you want to?
Yeah, without giving away too much. Basically, the film is about finding hope in hopeless situations. We'd gone through like a year of people being down in the dumps, and I had to break out of my typical routine of being a freelance filmmaker and doing work that I necessarily did not like or made me happy, but I had to do it. And a lot of people I found just kind of like pulled the plug on any kind of happiness that they had. That makes sense. So the movie is an over exaggeration about people staying happy and hopeful in situations where it just seemed like everything was never coming back to the way it seemed like. It's about a girl finding the strength to persevere and overcome a hopeless situation. Yeah. I just don't want to give away too much about it, but you'll get the idea that there's a character who starts off very powerless, and then she finds the strength within to overcome this life or death situation.
Right, and this is a short film, right? And going to be distributed on social media platforms, or is this going to be
Yeah.
something different?
So the way that we did it before with Replica and Out Ahead is we distributed it on Instagram by using IGTV. Since film festivals have just started opening up again, I didn't realize how much exposure Instagram TV was able to provide for our projects. So rather than just tossing that method aside, I figure let's give it a go again and use this new way of distributing videos. Let's utilize it again, because before it got us a lot more exposure, and the more that we have it up on different websites like Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, the more people can see our work. You remember a long time ago when you and I were at that film festival in Harlem, and there was a random dude in the crowd who knew you, and he's just like, he goes up to me, "Yo, you the director of Ascension?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." "Yo, I love that shit, man. Good on you." And I was just like, "Whoa." And I'm like, "How'd you watch it?" It's like, "YouTube." "Yeah, I got the link and then I shared it to my buddy, and all of us watched Gundam." So to me, it just seemed like social media is just a whole new way for films to get exposure for young independent filmmakers.
Right. No, totally. So yeah, this is going to be a short film, drama thriller that's coming out. But wanted to talk about the production of it. Right? You said you had something interesting. Um, can you said it officially wrapped on Monday, right?
Technically, we officially wrapped on Monday, where like everything was done being shot.
Mm.
So we ran into some difficulties during production where we had to switch around. We had to switch around actors, and I actually had to step up to the plate, and I got my big debut in the film. Good on you if you can figure out which character I am when you're watching it, but that's what happens in these situations, these small budgets. If one thing's out of place, you got to figure out exactly what you're going to do. And luckily, I've been getting a lot better as a director, working under pressure and making those decisions last minute and working around these difficult situations. If someone drops out, then I literally planned the day prior, okay, how am I going to tackle this? And even with the last production, you saw that I had a whole new approach to doing this. Like, I sent out a whole new call sheet, breakdown of the shooting day, and breaking down exactly, what kind of shots we're getting. So I had a whole shot list put together, because usually I would make storyboards, but storyboards kind of take up too much time, and I already know exactly what I'm going to shoot. I just need an order of what I'm going to shoot. So the second day is like really rough. We're getting some amazing shots, and the day starts off very fast and starts to slow down. And as we wrap, I thought to myself, no, we need one more day. So our friend Rory Knox was generous enough to leave me his house keys, and I left all the equipment there for the weekend. He'd gone away with his family to Salt Lake City in Utah, and I figured, hey, I have the keys to the house. I'm pretty much the caretaker at this point. Why don't I just go back on Monday, hit up the other actors, say, hey, let's get these shots. So I roll back to the house. I have the keys. I have the bags, like all the gun bags and everything. And I just open up the door and I find a little lady there. And I'm thinking, you're not supposed to be here. And then she's thinking the same thing to me, like, you're not supposed to be there either. And then it hit me, oh my God, this is their caretaker. This is the cleaning lady. Shit. So she's looking at me and I'm looking at her, and it's a standoff. And I'm like, listen, I'm Rory's friend. Everything is cool. I start speaking to her in
Mm,
Spanish, and I start telling her, listen, I'm his friend. All the bags here that I left in the house, they're mine. And then she's
mm,
like, yeah, no problem. So she starts moving like a little slow around me. She gets all her stuff and just leaves. And then I start going upstairs to take care of like lights and get everything ready so we can just like be done within the hour. So I get a text message not even 5 minutes later from Rory telling me, hey dude, are you at my house? I'm like, yeah. And then I get a dot, dot, dot. When were you gonna tell me you're gonna go back to my house? And I'm just sitting there wondering, probably should have texted him beforehand. Because
mm.
apparently his maid hit up his parents and told them that I was there, and everybody started panicking. So I'm sitting here feeling absolutely terrible. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't give him a heads up. I thought I sent the text message. I look back and turns out I never hit send.
Oh wow.
So I gave this lady
Mm-mm.
half a heart attack, and I'm feeling terrible. But I'm doing all this while I'm in the bathroom. So I'm just like,
Mm-mm.
sorry, buddy. So I hit send, and I'm like, you know what? I feel really bad, but we can't hop off the train right now because I have people coming over here. So I was just like, you know what? I'll take my ass whooping when they get back. And we just were there for an hour and we wrapped it like that. And that was it. That was the end. That was the end of Lion's Den. I had every single thing
Mm.
like laid down because I wanted to make sure that every single time we had to put on another shoot day, everything was like set in stone, ready to go.
Right on.
But it was a
Yeah, I
funny little,
remember
funny little, funny little.
without being yeah, I remember without being like too telling too much about the story, I was in the film as well, leading a group of people in that film. No, you're good. Um, yeah, it's hard to talk about it without like spoiling some of the story, but again, like one of the lead characters in the film, like all our other films, you know, New York's #1 actor over here. Um, Leading the group of people that was the antagonist to the girl who is trying to find hope in this film, uh, but is very interesting. It has elements of choreography in there, so you could like have your imagination kind of run wild with that, which was a lot of fun doing
Shout out
doing
to
something
Harry.
like that rather than having just like gunplay. I think with ascending the films, what we want to do is move away from so much like gun heavy aesthetic and story driven, because it's like a plot element that's kind of like it's just like guns,
Recurring.
guns, guns, guns. It's like it doesn't really take a lot of like thought process. It's like, yeah, just put a gun there, and let's shoot it. But I
It's
think
like
we're
that scene
moving
in The
towards more of
Office.
like we're moving towards more like a narrative, like having like a story driven like elements, which is great. And like we're kind of blending both elements a little bit together, which is very, very exciting, especially for me, because I like telling stories. And that's Max is more of the direction and the camera work and all that. I'm more of like the story and like the acting driven part. So it like comes together whenever we make these films. Um, and Yeah, it was probably, I would say, other than Latinx Rebels, which is to TBD in title, probably the funnest project, at least for me, in terms of being involved in it, and having like more of a, you know, uh, I guess prominent role in like doing something, you know what I mean, rather than just being like a titular character that pops in every now and then. You know what I mean? It has like a meaning. Um, so yeah, that was a lot of fun. I guess in contrast, like Ascension, we had like Alejandro, like he's kind of like the he's like a leader character, but he's also like he pops in like the anime villain, and he just like says some stuff and then he just kind of leaves. He doesn't really do a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
You're
Um,
waiting for him to
ver-
do
ver-
that super badass maneuver where he just comes in and just runs the room. He just runs the whole show after that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Lord Zed in Power Rangers. Like you want him to like kick some ass, and you'd like never see him, but then when he does it, you're like, oh snap, he's kicking Green Ranger's ass. You just
That's all
like
you
it's
needed
just
from
been
him.
waiting for that. Yeah, yeah. So um, yeah, it was a lot of fun, a great project. I think I'm not sure. I don't know if we talked about. We probably can't talk about like a release, but you look out for it sometime this year, most likely.
Probably end of
Well,
summer, because it wasn't really that long of a project.
right, yeah. So yeah, probably yeah, sometime this year, end of summer. So make sure that you're tuned in to all of the Ascending Films pages because we'll do that for free. You know, you guys are getting all this good content for free. Um,
The
so
goodies.
definitely love and appreciate. Um, but moving on towards another project that Ascending Films produced, which is Out Ahead. And if you guys don't know about this project, we released this about a month ago, again on all the channels. And this was a World War II drama, which was filmed out in where was it? Where did you guys film it out?
So the team and I had gone out to Long Island to the American Armor Museum, which is this museum that houses a bunch of fully functioning tanks from the past century. So you have tanks as old as World War II, like World War II Panzers and Tiger tanks, and then you have the more modern APCs, and this museum houses a bunch of different equipment from different decades, and they get together and they do reenactments. So
Mhm.
Alexio Barbuso, who's one of the actors that does reenactments, was generous enough to get us in there to do this full day shoot. Now, when you're doing shoots like that in a day, you're running a really tight schedule because you have to be aware of the continuity of sunlight, and then if it's November, you have to be aware of wind. So knowing that now in the future, like any projects that we do, sound is the number one priority.
Very crucial element. They always say like you can have kind of a not so great image, like it could be standard definition with like not great lighting, but the sound could be great and it could be watchable. But you could have like a 4K film shot with like horrible audio and it could be unwatchable. That's it's crazy. Like that's one of the big things about filmmaking is like those like very crucial elements to it that make or break a film. But we did have some, because it was so windy, we did have some ADR, right? In the film, which the actors would step into the studios and do some re-recording of the lines, because when you have some, environmental issues like the wind is too crazy, you can't control that. Even with like windscreens, sometimes even these big budget films, they have to do a lot of ADR, which actually, it's funny. I watched The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife last week in movie
How was that?
theater, and it was dumb. It was okay. It was really stupid. But what I noticed was that the characters, when they would like move their head, there would be like you could tell it's ADR because the sound is different and like their body doesn't match what they're saying. So they must have messed up a lot in terms of the production, which I thought was like really funny. Um,
It's
and
1991.
huh?
1991. 1991.
1991.
Terminator 2 came
um,
out.
yeah.
Edward Furlong had to do almost 80% of his lines over. I don't know if it's 80%, but because his balls were dropping at that time, his voice started to change. So they had to go
Mm,
back and re-record almost
the whole film.
almost the whole
Right.
film. Yeah. Because I was
Wow.
watching it with Rory. Roy Knox is one of our actors. He's also been doing a lot of different productions with us. Rory and I were watching it, and he noticed something. He's just like his pitch changed. It suddenly went from like deep to super squeaky, and I'm like, oh, that's where it is. So you go back, you watch Terminator 2. This might suck a lot of people out of it, but you'll notice like when Edward Furlong, he plays John Connor. When John's voice changes, it's because he's going back and re-recording because his balls are dropping.
Recording.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fucking wild. How
Yeah,
old was he in that movie, you know?
In the movie, he's 10. I think he's around 12, 13.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Wow. That's the risk you take with working with like child actors, right?
Yeah.
You never know when they're gonna get, you know, the puberty's gonna hit.
They should go the Michael Jackson route, just give them estrogen pills, just like, keep pushing it back another year.
Oh God. But yeah, you could, if you watch out ahead, it's done. We did it pretty well with the audio, but you could probably catch some parts where it's like, oh, okay, like it was so windy that there was really not much you can do about it in terms of that. But it was well received. A lot of people liked it. It looks great. Like there was a lot of like, I know you caught like a lot of B-roll of the reenactments, which I think was a great choice for the film, and it adds a lot of, I guess, a lot of character to it, rather than just having like following these four guys doing their thing. It builds more of a world in what we see,
Yeah.
because with a lot of indie productions, and it's fun. Another thing is like I was watching another movie yesterday, the second Deuce Bigelow, and they show like the wife, she's gonna be eaten by a shark, and they're looking like, oh, a shark, and they don't show the shark because of the production value of it. So it's just like some of these indie films, like they can't show a lot of things, but they'll be like, oh my God, there's a bomber, and it's just like like sounds.
Yeah, but like what you see also, what you don't see can also be way more effective than actually showing it, because I think a lot of people were a little bit taken back that this wasn't a big shoot 'em up movie. And I explained to them, like, that's not really the whole point of it. The point of it is to introduce some characters and like really put you in their shoes, because they always forget that like there are moments where soldiers get to be young men and get to be regular people just talking and bullshitting. And you don't see a lot of that. I've seen a lot of short films about World War II where people are just shooting up military camps and blowing everything up. So to do something like this, where it's just three people around the campfire talking, getting to know each other, I'd say it's probably one of the most original attempts at an independent World War II film.
Yeah, it definitely gives me like Saving Private Ryan vibes when they're not in the war and they're kind of like being buddy, learning each other's backstories and things like that. I think that's probably the most interesting part of it. Forget the blowing up and stuff, but like the real humane part of like the relationships you create with these people who you're going to potentially die with. So yeah, it's good. It's a good film. Check it out. It's available now on YouTube, like we said, on all these Sending Films pages. Definitely check it out. Share it if you can. We definitely want to do more of those kind of stories where it's like so unique, right? Where it's not something that we really see, right? Like even with Lions Den, there's like a story where you don't really see something of that nature. We're kind of like varying off from that path.
Yeah, you could tell when I went to you that day, and I was just like, I had a face on, and I have a terrible poker face. You looked at me like, what's going on, buddy? And I'm like, man, I think I'm done with guns after this. And you look shocked. You're like, huh? What? Come again? And I just looked at you. I was like, yeah, I think I'm done with them movies after this.
Yeah, I was ready to call the press. It was like, oh my God, like tell the president we're done with guns. Put them all away.
That's like if Tarantino decided, I'm gonna do a romance movie.
That's like if Tarantino said like, no feet in this one. You're like, what? No feet? That's the whole charm of it. What do you mean?
That's like the whole point. Like if we don't have feet, there's no film.
You know what's funny is that I saw a video of a girl. She met Tarantino, and she had him sign her foot with a permanent marker. And then she was just like, "What would you rate my foot?" And he's like, "Excuse me." It's like, "What would you rate my foot?" He's like, "Oh, I wouldn't do that."
They're trying to catch him. It's just like, I know you have it. I know you have that fetish. But you could tell by the signature. If she had looked at the signature and it wasn't like a clean little John Hancock, then she would have known.
Mhm.
Oh, I got him. But if it was just like, yeah, here you go. You're not the only foot I've signed.
Probably not. Probably
No,
not. He
think,
probably gets that all the time.
Yeah.
He's a footman. You know what? I'm not king shaming. You know, but let's focus on the narrative. So yes, so we got Out Ahead out now. Go check that out. Lions Den coming up. We are now that we're done with these films, we're to focus on Lions Den coming up next, followed by Latinx Rebels, which we actually have a new title that we came up with, and it's going to be, I don't know, probably shouldn't reveal that yet, right? We'll probably wait.
Wait till we get those varsity jackets and then we can put the title out.
All right. Wait till we do like some more promotion, like when it's more out. But we are in post production on that for Latinx Rebels as well. So be on the lookout for
it's
that
looking,
as well. Oh yeah, the footage. If you go on the Facebook page, there's literally like in the cover, you know, the Facebook banners. I had put because I managed the socials for us. I put a cover of like a bunch of screenshots from our films, and the first one is a screenshot of Nazia Kelly in the deli, like putting his hands up. Oh my God, I have to bleep that out now. God damn it. When somebody's there.
I think
so you could see
going
like,
back to that shooting day.
The image looks great. Like the footage looks spectacular. Yeah.
Going back to that shooting day, as soon as like you brought up the deli, it just took me back to that shot. I'll keep it as vague as possible. You know what I'm talking about with the broomstick. We're just getting that take again and again and again and again and again. And they look at me like, man, what the fuck are we doing? And I'm just like, trust me, I looked at them. Trust me.
It was many, and I think they were just like, dude, it's just a broom, just drop it.
And I looked at him like, it's not just a broom,
just drop it.
It's not just a broom.
It's not. This is very crucial to the story. You know.
Let me tell you something.
You don't know
Let me tell you something. This broom is gonna make the story.
It's gonna make or break the film, actually. Now everybody's gonna look at that film and like be like, oh shit, there's the broom part. They did that shit. They did that shit 72 times. Like, it's like, you know, Snapple fact, fun fact for you.
Yeah, I wish we did it in like one take, like that one take wonder, but nope.
That was probably like I'm trying to think what was the most difficult shot of that day.
I'm thinking about that too. I think it was the broom shot.
The most that was the most tedious, but I mean that was one difficult, you think? Wouldn't you say like the altercation?
No, that was actually
you know, no. Because they actually did
that was
it
one
really
of the easiest
well.
fight scenes. That was actually one of the easiest fight scenes we've ever done.
That was all them. That was all the actors. Are the two actors in the scene. They're just like, we told them what to do, and then they just did it, and we're like, good take.
There really wasn't a tough shot to get that day, minus the tediousness of the broom.
I'd probably the toughest shot of all of them is probably in the house when we were trying to do the running scene.
The running.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get nightmares.
Dude,
I get nightmares.
What I've started doing now is I look at myself in the mirror the day before a shoot. If we have to break down a special effects shot, I'll look at myself and talk to myself like I'm explaining to the actor. And then I look at myself in disgust, like, oh, you fucking dummy. Because the way that I'm explaining it, of course, I understand how the special effects are gonna look. But then when I'm explaining it to myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh, you got me so lost. I can't follow you. So then I've been working on communicating how we're going to do the effect, of the day of shooting. That way, like, there's no misunderstanding.
Yeah, I think being transparent about what we're trying to accomplish, because I mean, as an actor myself, when somebody tells me to do something and I don't know what's happening in the situation, I can't fully be involved in that scene because I don't know what my next action is going to be. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's happening. So when a director tells me that, like, oh, just put your hands up and then we're going to have something happen here and then just act surprised, I'm just like, I mean, I could do it, but that's not really acting. That's just like doing what you're saying. Like, you know what I mean?
I remember the first day you and I worked with each other. The very first day you and I worked with each other, I was trying to pull the emotions out of you. Like, you were supposed to be this really neglecting dad. So I tried to like bring you deep into your psyche. I'm asking, like, hey man, we didn't know each other that well at the time. So I'm just like, hey man, you got a good relationship with your pops? You're like, actually, yeah. I'm like, fuck. So I'm trying to think, I'm like, how can I get you to be a dickhead dad? I'm just sitting there thinking, like, be like, just treat your kid like he's your rental. Just treat your kid like he's your rental. Like, yeah, I got another kid. This one's not that important. And it's like, cool. We're off to the races after that point.
You talking about the office scene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a great scene. It's a great scene.
My film professor, he's super picky about the students' films, and he was a big fan of like the stop motion action that we were doing at the time. And he didn't even point out that. He's just like, wow, good scene. And I was like, good scene, thanks, man. Oh God, so I'm good for today. I can leave. I gotta leave.
A plus.
A plus. I'm like, oh, awesome. If I don't even have to edit the rest of the movie, and you're just happy with this as being like its own little standalone thing, even better. Which you all know that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I just want to go back to playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, no, not at the time. It was Mortal Kombat, and Naruto Ultimate Ninja 4 until like 2 a.m. And then my roommate's like, hey, you have work to do? Like, yeah, I'll come in the morning.
Yeah, you got to watch the new Mortal Kombat so we could talk about it. Because
if you send me that illegal link, I'll watch it, man. If you send me that virus ridden website link, I'll watch it.
We don't do that out here, bro. We nothing, no illegal stuff happening here. I pay for all my subscriptions and I pay my taxes on time and all that good
I heard
stuff.
like two cop cars going by in the background. We don't do no legal things here.
What LimeWire? What's that?
Rest in peace, LimeWire.
Rest in peace, LimeWire. Napster, I think, is still around some reason.
Dude, I used LimeWire once, and my computer just moved frame by frame after that.
It's such a funny time, man. Such a funny time, like ripping like these illegal movies when you're like 12 years old. You think you're a pirate. They call them like pirates because they're pirating stuff, and you like look up a song and it'll be like, what? Tupac featuring DMX. Like, I never heard of this. Like, somebody chopped it together. You're like, whoa.
The best is when people thought that the slowing down or the speeding up of tracks was the coolest thing ever. When you either call it like chipmunking, now they call it like nightcore, and all it is just speeding up or slowing down somebody's song. It's just the like stupidest
chopped
thing.
And screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a thing back then. Yeah.
Let me listen to Linkin Park Nightcore playlist.
I mean, it's a way to get some more mileage out of your music. kind of like mashups, your mashup song.
Dude, the only
Um,
mashup that I really vibe with right now is that Dua Lipa and Attack on Titan. Yeah. Every single time they played it at the gym, I'm hearing it and I'm thinking, when's the drop coming? You know which drop I'm talking about. Because
Yeah.
it just works so well. I'm like, this could be the song. They should release this. Why do I have to listen to this? This is the one that we need.
They did so many remixes of that. It's so funny. Like
I know.
there's a Pop Smoke one. I don't know, like it's so random. There's a what else is there? There's other rappers like they just like keep merging with these songs. Um, but yeah, no, actually a good mashup is this DJ did a mashup between Linkin Park and DMX. They did Rough Riders and Numb. It was actually really good. Pretty hype. Yeah.
I need that link. You
Um,
got to send that to me ASAP.
oh yeah, I was getting hyped. I worked out to it for a little while once it came out.
You got the
But
link that I sent you last week, right?
what?
To the track from the Demon Slayer movie.
The was it Rengoku versus
Akaza, yeah.
Aziz Ansari?
Aziz.
What's his name?
Don't touch me. I didn't say you could touch me. Just kidding. I love you, Aziz.
That's funny. Yeah. No, it's. I gotta watch that movie again.
It'll be like the
Really good.
fifth time that I've watched it already.
Oh my god, that's me and Broly. I watched it so many times.
Oh my god.
Um,
I was telling my cousin about the sensation. Like when we went to go see it, it was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. It honestly was like going into a time machine and just going back in time to 2000 watching a Pokemon movie. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like when you're a kid and you pull up to the movie theater, you see all these fans pull up. It's just so reassuring now that anime is just so much more popular in the mainstream, and just everybody is just completely on board with it now.
yeah, it's super. It's honestly like annoyingly mainstream.
It's pretty annoyingly
Like
mainstream.
it's like annoyingly like it's like oh like everybody is now. It's just like oh it's not even like a cool secret anymore. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't
You
have to
can't.
be. It's just like the enjoyment of watching these shows and seeing your favorite characters do their thing. That's the part that really hits home for me.
No, I'm selfish. I don't, I'm selfish. I don't give a shit. I was like, oh man, you like JoJo too? It's not cool anymore. It's like what? What do you mean? You have like a well-paying job. Why are you watching anime? Um, you're like ripped. Stop it. Um,
Why are you posing
but
so
yeah,
flamboyantly? It's a JoJo's reference. You don't
right.
get it.
Everything is a JoJo reference.
Everything.
Um, but yeah, so yeah. Listen, so the Ascending Films merch is available. We have these nice T-shirts, very well fitted. We have all different sizes. If you guys are interested in supporting, we have our Patreon page, of course. But if you want to actually receive something in return, we have our Ascending Films T-shirts for sale. And if you are interested, make sure that you DM Ascending_Films, our Instagram page, with your interest, like how many shirts you want, what size, and we'll ship it within a week or two. And once you receive it, we would take a photo with it. We'll promote you through our page. We'll post you. We'll show love as you do. So, yeah. I still want to get. I do want to get hats eventually. Like that's probably the next thing is getting some hats, right? And Max wants. I know you want beanies. Um,
Hats,
right? Maybe
beanies,
some water
sombreros.
bottles, something. That'd be cool too, actually. Like what do
Ascending
they call
film
those?
sombrero. That'd be badass.
No, water bottles.
Oh, you mean like the Yeti cans?
Sombreros. Yeah, or just like like the regular like aluminum ones. Like Google has.
Ascending films, baseball bats, and wallets.
Ascending Films waffle maker.
Waffle maker. And
Why? I don't know.
The Ascending Films exclusive bourbon for when we finish shoots.
You said turban?
Bourbon.
Oh, okay. That sounds, I guess, much more marketable.
Hey, if The Rock can have his own tequila, then we can have our own bourbon.
Hell yeah, that'd be sick. And the fucking, the Crow is like perfect for like that type of liquor. So
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Mhm.
You know. So yeah. Anything you want to add? Anything that you want to before we wrap up here?
Keep creating. Keep pushing through all the bullshit. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something because it's nonsense. There's always a way to get stuff done. That's just it. That's just the deep words. That's just the deep words I got to leave y'all with, because some of you guys just don't understand. Like, you quit way too easily. That's bullshit. You always find a way to get things done. Doesn't matter if it takes a day, a week, a year. Stick with it.
That's straight from the heart. Yeah, I would say I would just give like a actor's advice. So I recently watched somebody's suggestion to check out somebody's self-tape, and I like watching people's self-tapes and audition tapes because it gives a lot of perspective on like people, like other actors' thought processes and like how they approach different roles. So I would say for you, if you're an actor, and even if you're Ascending Films actor from one of our projects, I'd say go watch this. It's Dacre Montgomery's self-tape for Stranger Things. It's actually very interesting because he breaks all the rules for self-tapes. Like,
I want to see that.
like, I'm sure for like like camera work, you have the crossing the line and things like that, like all these rules that, if you're gonna break the rule, make sure it's worth it, right? If you're gonna break the rule of access, or the rule of third or whatever, make sure that it's for a purpose. He does a great job in like just taking it and making it his own, and I'm really incorporating that into a lot of my auditions, because out here I've been just pretty much just auditioning like every other day, and trying to find new ways to not just do the role, but like make it my own. So I'd say definitely go watch that. It's on YouTube for free. So yeah, go check that out.
I'm definitely
And also
gonna
don't
beat that. Oh yeah, don't quit. Right?
So don't quit.
Don't be a spitter.
Or a quitter. Don't be a spitter or a quitter. We hate those.
Neither of those are great.
But all right, guys, thank you guys for listening, or if you're watching, thank you for watching. And we will be back with you with some more updates in the next episode.
Peace out, you goofy sons of bitches. I'll catch you. Deuces.
Bye-bye.